Major Slack Videos.
Hey, welcome back to Major Slack Videos. Here first up for titillating tactical Elden Ring gameplay. On the menu today is the Fire Giant boss fight. This guy is the gatekeeper to the crumbling Farum Azula. We basically gotten everything we want out of the mountaintops of the giants. I know there's other locations to do here, but I've gotten everything I want out of this place, so we're just going to move on.
I took you no matter, it's all lay out your arms.
To the crumbling Farum Azula, and the Fire Giant is basically the gatekeeper to that area. It is a must-do fight. And we're going to do this with the Greatbow. Just going to hook that up right now. Probably the easiest weapon for a strength build, any kind of strength or strength or quality build. I would definitely recommend using the Greatbow. Currently have it at 18. I'm going to bring it up to plus 20. Okay, that plus some arrows, talismans, and some extra sauce in the form of Flame Grant Me Strength and Golden Vow. We should be able to kill him. And it's just a matter of staying alive. For now, let's go get some ammunition. So we're going to go up here to the Altus Plateau and the Outer Wall background. By the way, this is Gamer Slack down there in the trenches, and MC Dub Slack here in the rear of the gear on the microphone. This is there's no way I could do this still live running commentary. This I would consider the second toughest fight in the game, beside the Elden Beast fight. One of the few fights that just saps all your resources, because the Fire Giant just has such a colossal health bar. Alright, so we're going to head up to the east here. Find a little stairway at the side of the cliffs here from the Outer World background, Site of Grace. And then we're going to double back to the merchant, who always has an unlimited supply of great arrows for sale. And he also has some, I forget what they call it, but they're like great arrows with holy damage on them, which is what we're going to use first, primarily on the Fire Giant. He does have some holy resistance, but he's not immune. So it makes more sense to use holy arrows. Use the arrows that do the most damage. And if you saw what he did there, I kind of veered off to the left to get up to this area here, so that all the skeletons in the area don't spawn and come at you while you're trying to simply get to the Site of Grace and then do business with this merchant here.
Is someone the customer? Well...
These things right here, gold and great arrows, they have holy damage on them. Now the most you can carry at one time is 30. I'm going to buy 60. Just for good measure. It'll cost 30,000 runes. I'm going to buy a batch of great arrows as well. I'm going to buy 50 of these. And then we're going to go into the Fire Giant with 30 golden great arrows and 30 great arrows. That should be more than enough. More than enough to get the job done. Okay, I'm just going to use the Greatbow and nothing else. Don't even need the shield. Take off all the talismans, and I strongly recommend putting on your best fire talisman. And the two arrows talismans, that would be the arrows sting talisman and the arrows reach talisman. The arrows reach talisman definitely helps with the Greatbow, even if you're using the skill on it, the rain of arrows. And I believe that is not the default skill on the Greatbow. The default skill is through and through, but we have a rain of arrows on it. We covered that previously in the walkthrough. I always have rain of arrows on the Greatbow. Alright, so back to the Church of Repose, Site of Grace. And from here, we're going to gallop on over to the Site of Grace closest to the Fire Giant boss fight. Look for these 3 markers here, 2, 3, 4 markers, okay? It's marker number 1 right there. And if we put a beacon right here, that's where the Site of Grace is. Thank you for pointing that out, Gamer Slack. Alright, now we have been careful to follow through all of Alexander's quest line, so he's going to be available for this boss fight, and we're definitely going to use him, even though we'll take a hit with the amount of money that we earned for this boss fight. It's going to be way easier with Alexander. Okay, you want as much, you want him as distracted as possible, as many diversions as possible. So we're going to go in. Also, Flask Wondrous Physic, I'm going to put on the Holy Shrouding Cracked Tear for extra holy damage. For 3 minutes. And have a Gold Pickle File Foot ready. And I also have the Gold Scarab. You might want to take out the Gold Scarab Talisman and put in any kind of Spell Drake Talisman for some extra fire protection, but you're gonna have to remember to pop it back in just before the fight is over, so you get extra money. But I didn't bother with that. I just let the Gold Scarab Talisman in. Okay, so there's the little sign to call up Alexander, and I'm just giving myself some extra sauce here. Golden Bow, Flame Grant Me Strength, and I'm getting a fire. What should we call it? One of those fire flesh. I forget what they're called. You saw me hook it up there. I didn't actually use it actually. Okay, now I'm gonna call up my Mimic Tear, which uses up health instead of FP, and I'm just gonna slide off the left here over to these little cliffs. Take cover just in case he shovels. He does the shovel snow attack, which he always does to start, but he didn't do it at me. That's good. And just target his left ankle always. First phase of the fight, target his left ankle, get to mid-range, and let those arrows fly. Rain of arrows all the way. Keep letting them fly. And you're often going to take one for the team. I would recommend standing in, taking one for the team to get some extra damage in, which is what you see me do. And we knocked him out. That's great. That's a good opportunity to do some more damage. And he's going to do all these roly-poly moves. Here comes the shovel attack. That's going to nail me. Heal up. Get a little closer to make sure that... Here, I was just curious. I don't know why in the world I was doing this. I was just curious how much damage you could do just shooting at his ankle directly. And then I said, okay, enough of that noise. I'm going to die. Get back to the regular plan and target his left ankle. Heal up. And that one, even though I was locked on, it was out of range. So be careful of that, eh? If you see the arrows falling back down on you, you're out of range. And once again, for the first part of the fight, always try to lock onto his left ankle. That's where you do the most damage. And you'll periodically knock him out. See, we knocked him out again. And as you can see, my Mimic Tear is doing great. She usually survives the fight. Alexander often dies, but the Mimic Tear usually survives. As you can see, you can get some great range from the rain of arrows. Here I knew those fireballs are coming for me. I just stood in and took one for the team because I wanted to get more damage on him. I knew he could withstand a couple of fireballs. Same thing right here again. I decided to stand and take one for the team in favor of taking another shot because he was distracted. So now I'm going to heal up. Move in a little closer, make sure I'm within range, and let fly with the rain of arrows again. I forgot to point out my mix of FP to HP flats. I think it was an even mix, 7 and 7. And we got him into phase 2. I did finish the fight with 2 extra health flasks. I would rather err on the side of health than FP. Because if you run out of FP, you can always just shoot him directly with the Greatbow. Just take normal shots. Which is what happened. Whereas if you run out of health, then you're screwed. Because his attacks are so heavy, you know, and it's such a long fight. Alright, now this phase, you definitely want to stay to his side or behind him. And now, the best thing to target is either of his wrists. Doesn't matter, either one. And here comes the volcano attack. What I call the volcano attack. He just spews fire and brimstone all over the place around him. So just stay out of a perimeter around him. And he's downed. Once again, lock on to either of his wrists. Either of his hands. And he does a couple of wrestling moves too. It's kind of hilarious. So I'm in good shape here. I know I got him. I may run out of FP, but I know I'm going to survive. Now he's coming after me, and he nailed me. That's why it's a good idea to stick over on this side where you got that little cliff to give you some cover. There's this wrestling move. This is so hilarious. Hey, is it keeping the pressure on? He's almost done. As you can see, the Greatbow is performing well. Greatbow and Rain of Arrows doing a good job. And now I just took my last FP flask, and what happened was I think I missed all the shots except one, unfortunately. See, here he rolled out of the way. I missed that shot. Here I was out of range, even though I was locked on. It took me a couple shots to realize it. And I'm trying to get in range. And here I lost the lock on, so I screwed up that shot. And now I'm out of FP. So I'm just going to shoot him directly. Shoot him directly, Slack. Shoot him directly. There you go, he's almost dead. In fact, I don't even think I finished him off. Oh yeah, and at this point, quickly take your gold pickle foul foot. And check it out, Alexander survived. This is extremely rare that Alexander survives the entire fight. I don't think I've ever seen this before, actually. He survived the entire fight, so that's great. And I survived the fight with 2 health flasks to spare. So if you want to adjust your flasks at the beginning, I think I went with 7 and 7. So if you want to adjust it more in favor of FP, but normally I like to, like I said, have lots of health, more health than I need, because you can always finish them off with the bow with just straight arrows without using the weapon skill on the Greatbow. And that's it. That's the Fire Giant boss fight. We are now allowed to enter the Crumbling Fair Missoula, which is what's coming up next after we take care of some business with what's her name? Melina. Alright, thanks a lot for watching. If you thought this was remotely entertaining and or informative, you know what to do. Give me a thumbs up, post a comment, stuff like that there, and I'll see you next time for some more Elden Ring. Hey guys, real walkthroughs like these are an endangered species here on YouTube. For a complete lowdown on the YouTube video game walkthrough scene, check out my Patreon page, and please consider making a donation to yours truly, Major Slack, to help keep real walkthroughs alive on YouTube. You can donate as little as $1. That's $1, that's all. That's all it takes, alright? Thanks a lot, really appreciate it.